Hi guys, this is Rachel, the Modern Shaman, and I'm here to do a Q&A time. It's time to answer some questions. So let me pull this up on my computer. I had it up, I promise. Here we go. Okay, the question says, I know it may sound silly, but I was wondering if you could explain the chakras. Everyone talks about them like they're a given, and I'm new to this and not really sure of the terms. Oftentimes people talk about them, I have no idea what they're saying. I'm not laughing at you, but I'm totally laughing at that experience because that's such a, it's just a human experience of us being in a conversation with someone and like, on the outside, and then on the inside thinking, I have no idea what they're talking about. I wish someone would explain it to me. So I'm going to explain to you the chakras. Okay, the chakras. I'm such a fidgeter when I do these videos. I just have to get comfy. Okay, chakras. You know what else is funny about this? Is I was talking on the phone to someone just yesterday about the chakras, and he was explaining them, and I was like, gosh, that's such a great explanation. It was just like a biological explanation, and I was like, that's a great explanation. I need to share that, or he needs to share that. And then synchronicity would have it that you ask a question the very next day. Isn't that how spirit works? Okay. Let me center in here. Sorry, it's Friday and I'm in a kind of a goofy mood. So let's talk about chakras. Chakras. Okay. The term chakra in Sanskrit means wheel. This came from the ancient Vedas scripture, the Hindu scripture, which is like 5,000, 7,000 years old. It's really old. And essentially it was their way of describing, it was their medical science. So it was their way of describing what was going on inside the body. And so they used the word chakras to describe the energy bundles within the body. Their medical science in the ancients, this goes through Chinese medicine too, which describes these as the meridians, which is much of their health and wellness is based on manipulating and moving energy and keeping energy balanced, the chi energy balance within the body along these meridians. That's why acupuncture deals with these meridians and where they intersect and how to move that energy. So this was their medical way of explaining the body. And it was just way more holistic. It's mind, body, and spirit. So with each of the chakras, there is a very biological sense to them, but there's also a very metaphysical, spiritual sense to them as well, emotional body, in a way that we in science today in our medical communities don't do. We look at the pancreas and we think something's wrong with the pancreas. We don't necessarily look at what they would do, in the ancients they would look at the metaphysical, spiritual things that are associated with that gland. And that's what the chakras do. It's just a much more holistic, ancient medical practice and explanation. So let me see where I want to take this. So let's start at the very basics. Okay, everything is energy, right? Now, our material world, what we experience in this 3D life on this planet, what we see as matter, which looks solid, is actually not solid. As you know, it's mostly space. So those atoms and particles are held together through the space by a magnetic relationship, like an electromagnetic bond, okay? That's always communicating between each of the atoms and particles and sending that communication is creating this vibration, which is measured in frequency. And we can measure this electromagnetic communication or pulse or vibration in each of the chakras. Now, when you look at that in a biological sense, our bodies move electrical energy, like our electric system is our nervous system. So these chakras fall along the kind of the groupings of where our nervous system, where our nerves bundle. And without getting too medical, I don't want to go way too far into it, but basically our nervous system, okay, it has two different types, two different major systems in it. It's the central nervous system and there's the peripheral nervous system. Now the chakras have to do with the peripheral nervous system. This is the part of our nervous system that is kind of our unconscious, continual electromagnetic communication. And you know, like our heart beating or our breathing, it's all runs along the energy lines, our nervous system lines from our brain to those parts of our body, telling it what to do. It's communicating to it, telling it how to heal, telling it how to move, and all of that. Interesting is to note that the major nerve, the big daddy nerve that runs along the spine, corresponds to the Kundalini energy or the Kundalini line, which if you're familiar with is that symbol of the two serpents, the male and female black and white serpents that are coiling up, and then at the top there's this two wings, and that's still used in our medical science, you know, symbology today. And that, you know, corresponds with that major vagus nerve that connects the brain to all of our major, like the heart and the lungs and all of our immune system stuff. So it's kind of like the major artery or the major nerve. It corresponds to the Kundalini line and the Kundalini energy. So again, it's a more metaphor, you know, the symbols are using metaphor and analogy to describe something that's biological. They're using, and that's what the ancient scriptures do. They're so full of analogies and metaphors explaining the unseen with those type of things that we could understand them, you know. And if you think about it, you know, your nerves kind of do look like little serpents or something. So they're just using that analogy to describe the moving energy, how it comes up the spine. And that nerve actually touches the spine in 3 different spots. And if you notice that symbol, the snakes coil 3 different times as they're going up. So it's very similar. Okay, I'm gonna get back to myself here. So each of the chakras corresponds in the spot of those nerve bundles in the peripheral nervous system. And those nerve bundles are held in our glands. And each of those glands is associated with that particular chakra. Now, glands are important because glands secrete hormones. And hormones affect everything. And if you don't believe me, ask a pregnant woman, because it literally affects everything. And hormones actually are why we experience the aging process. You know, when we get older and we start to experience aging, it's because we're having a decrease in our hormone secretion. So hormones are incredibly important and are how we experience this linear life and our life, our health, our vitality, how long we live, and that kind of thing. Okay, so let's go through each of the chakras. So the first one is the root chakra. This is red. Remember, these are electromagnetic centers, nerve bundles, and so they're measurable in terms of frequency. There's a megahertz, and I don't know it, but there's a megahertz associated with each of the chakras, and I'm sure you could look those up online somewhere if you're into that. And they are each associated with a color in the light spectrum because, again, they can be seen as a frequency, right? As a light wave. So the first one that's on the base of our spine, the coccyx, down there, that is the root chakra. It's red. In terms of our metaphysical connections, it deals with issues that have to do with our root into this earth. So our nuclear family. This is our fight or flight issues. This is our sense of safety and survival and fear. Those issues are all energetically held in that group of nerves, which is kind of the gland there is like the testes. That's the gland where that kind of, or that area where the bundle of nerves is held. Then the second chakra is the sacral chakra, and this is in the pelvic area. That gland is associated with the ovaries and the hormones produced there. And it deals with psychological and metaphysical issues of sex, of money, of control, power, dominance. So a lot of times if we have issues, addictions show up there. If we have issues with that and we're not processing these events that have happened in our lives, we can get stagnant energy. It can get clogged there. And just like any valve, those kind of like those nerve lines or those meridians of energy can get blocked and or pinch off, and therefore can make disease in that area of the body because they're not getting proper flow. That is a orange color in terms of the electromagnetic light frequency. And yeah, so then the third chakra is our solar plexus chakra. That chakra deals with the sense of self. So it's yellow on the light spectrum, and it the glands that are associated with it are the pancreas and the adrenals. And this is who we feel like we are. This is where the energy for those issues are stored. So sense of self, self-love, self-esteem, why you came to the world, what you want to share with the world, your identity is held there. A lot of times we'll have gut issues or bowel issues or acid reflux or just stuff like that when things are triggered with who am I, or when your identity feels, like it's not secure and doesn't have open expression. So the fourth chakra is our heart chakra. This is green on the electromagnetic light spectrum, and it deals with the gland of the thymus gland and the hormones produced there. It deals with metaphysical issues of love, on the flip side, hate, guilt, anger. And it should be said that each of these chakras has a positive and negative center, or yin and yang, male and female, giving and receiving center. So the front of the chest, typically when I see chakras, they look like a funnel. And they're like a two-sided funnel. I can't do it. Okay, so this is the funnel and this is the funnel. So the front is your giving, and the back is your receiving. So sometimes if someone is giving a lot of love, they're so compassionate and trusting and loving and all of these, hope, all these positive expressions of love, but they're not receiving any. They feel isolated, they feel all of those things. Then sometimes the back of the chakra will feel all shriveled and unbalanced, and the front will almost feel overextended and unbalanced. So we have to work on that feminine, masculine, yin, yang, black, white, whatever you want to call it, that polaric expression of the energy and having a balance there. Okay, let's move on. So the next chakra, the fifth, is your throat chakra. This is a light blue on the light spectrum, and it deals with the thyroid gland and the hormones produced there. On a metaphysical sense, this is your expression of yourself. So this is where you feel the freedom to speak your mind, but not just on a surface level, on a deep level of like, I express who I am. I show to the world. I follow my dreams. I have a sense of making decisions for myself. I have vocal freedom and personal expression, okay? It's really tied to the solar plexus chakra a lot. And sometimes in my psychic sight, I will literally see them like a chain, like connected. Or I will feel like my throat is being strangled when I'm feeling into someone's chakra because there's no expression of themselves. Okay, the sixth chakra is the third eye chakra, and it deals with the pituitary gland and the hormones secreted there. And on a metaphysical sense, it deals with issues of your psychic senses. This is also your kind of your mental processing of things. So like your self-assessment, your assessment of your views and beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, and your intuitive interpretation of things, all of that is held energetically here. It is a indigo color. And then the crown chakra, which is associated with the pineal gland, which, if you know about the pineal gland, is incredibly important. It secretes the DMT hormone, which is what causes people to have a feeling of out-of-body experiences. A lot of psychedelic, interdimensional experiences happen through that secretion of that hormone. So the crown is kind of a white or golden color, kind of metallic. It looks metallic to me. It looks shiny. And this is our connection to source energy, connection to God. This is, in a metaphysical and a spiritual sense, this is our energetic centers to process faith and seeing beyond just ourselves. This is our kind of humanitarian efforts too, energetically are held here. Now, all of these things, when they're in balance, they're going to have a flow, a natural flow that flows through this Kundalini line, which goes up and down the spine, those serpents, or the prana tube. It's also called the prana tube, that connects essentially our spirit to our spirit home and our physical home, the earth and the sky, Mother Earth, Father Sky. Lots of traditions call it different things, but essentially it's the balanced human being. It's a holistic living, a sense of mind, body, and spirit being in health and living in the fullness of this 3D body, the way it's meant to live. So the chakras help you do that. So I hope that was helpful to you. Now maybe when you're in those conversations with people, you can be like, I know what the chakras are. Yeah, I love you guys. Have a great day.